The theme of our presentation today will be on the mystery of meditation and meditative living. The two go together. The great mystery about meditation is that it enables you to be in tune with your divine nature. You have a human nature, as a result of which you feel and exist as a human individual. But juxtaposed to this is your true nature, which is divine in character, and that is your divine nature, which you really are. In religious parlance, this divine nature of yours is referred to as God in religious language all over the world. It's only a word which is something which is either misunderstood or none understood in the world, though frequently used in all religious traditions. In short, we could say that God means the godly state of beingness of existence, which is perfect in nature. Perfect. That's why it is said God is perfect. It is to attain the perfected state of your own existence. And that is what each and every one really wants and aspires for. To be self-complete and perfect in all its sense. And this is your true nature. It is your divine nature. You already are that already. But that state of affairs has been veiled or covered from you. So therefore, all that you have to do is to unveil the covering and become aware as to who and what you really are. That's all. But in the meantime, the word meditation implies you're going to meditate on what? On what are you going to meditate? That's the most crucial question. If you wish to meditate on a flower, a rose flower, then you must know or have an idea as to what the rose flower is. And then thereafter you could meditate on it. But here, what is that on which you wish to meditate? I would say that this understanding is the very crux of not only religion, true religion, but also it is the crux for you to appreciate and comprehend what really is meditation. Because you are to meditate on your divine nature, on the divinity in existence. But there is something very intriguing about it. The rose flower is known to you. But the divine is that which is unknown to you. You know not what it is. You know not. So, how to meditate upon something of which you have no clue or idea? That's the intriguing mystery about it. But nevertheless, there is a way to arrive at it. In fact, your senses cannot perceive it, nor your mind can conceive what it is. Your mind as such is only a tool or an instrument with which you can know things of the world. Anything which is part and parcel of the universe can be comprehended, analyzed and understood by the mind. But that which is beyond this universe is something which the mind cannot reach, neither comprehend, and as such you know not what it is. So it is something which is unknown to you. That is why a very intriguing three-worded phrase has been indicated in the Bhagavad Gita, which opens out this mystery of meditation. In one particular verse it says, the divine is that which is unmanifest. It is unmanifest to your senses. It is unmanifest to your mind, the only tool, the instrument you have to know something. So therefore the word avyakta has been used. So since it is unmanifest to your sense organs and to your mind and intellect, it is something which is unknown to you. It is unknown to you. Now that which is unknown to you becomes, the next word he uses is, it is not only unknown, it is something which is unthinkable. Achintyoyam, avyaktoyam, achintyoyam. It is unthinkable. You cannot think about what it is. You cannot conceive it in any form. So how are you going to meditate upon that which is inconceivable, unthinkable? That's where the catch is. The only way you can think of the unthinkable is not to think. It's not to think. It's not to use your mind. Not to use your mind. So when you don't use your mind, and when you don't think of it, and you become quiet, and you become silent, at what point or when do you not think of anything? When you get to the state of silence. When you become silent and mentally quiet, then at that point you don't conceive it, you cannot think about it, but in that very state itself, in that unthinkable thing has now been brought into the focus of your attention. So the only way to think of the unthinkable is to get into silence. That is why it is said in the biblical tradition, in one of the Psalms it is said, be still and know that I am God. Be still. Be mentally still. Be still. Be mentally still. So when you're mentally still, you're mentally quiet. And then it says, be still and know that I am God. So there, how to know? Be aware that I am God. Just be aware, be still, and be aware that I am God. When you do so, you have now become aware of your God nature. Aware of your God nature. Now, how is it so? A clue to this is indicated in the book of Genesis, wherein the book of Genesis, which is a very small section in the Bible, is self-complete for a man's liberation or enlightenment. It's mentioned, the clues are given there, mystically worded and stated. And there, in the aspect of creation, the book of Genesis talks about creation. And why was that mentioned there? Also to show you the way how you can get out of creation. So the creation has been mentioned, and also in a very intriguing way, clues have been given how you could get out of creation, or shall we say, how you could exit the universe. So that teaching too has been given. Where? You may have heard of this. Man was made in the image of God. Man was made in the image of God. Now, two questions arise. Where was this image of God made in man? Where? Where was it made? So now, where was the imageless image of God made in? Because God has no images. Remember this. Anything which has an image belongs or pertains to this entire universe. So, therefore, the imageless image of God, the imageless image of God was made in man. Man was made in the image of God. But where was this made? If you can arrive at that position, at that place, where God made man in his own image, then you are in the image of God. I'll repeat this again because it's very significant. If you can arrive at the place wherein God, the imageless God, was made in the so man was made in the imageless image of God. Where was it made? And you should arrive at that point, at that place. Very simple. Very simple. Could you tell me? Where was that imageless image of God made in man? Where man could be or could arrive at that state, at that place. Where is it? Tell me. That's right. In silence. Or, to be more precise, let's make it a little more clear. When you have no images, no thoughts, then you are in the imageless image of God automatically. Do you get it? Is that clear? It is as simple as that. Do you understand it now? Huh? So all that is why it is said. In silence. A young man, in his mighty haste, went to a Zen teacher and asked him a question. Show me the quick way to get to enlightenment. And the teacher promptly replied, "Shut up." And the boy was a little shocked. I went to him with all humility to get a teaching. And when I asked him this question, he asked me to shut up. So that's all that you have to do. Shut your mind. Isn't your mind bubbling now? So the way to enlightenment, to be in this state, is to keep quiet. The most hardest thing to do in the world. You can do everything. But it's rather difficult to keep quiet. Because your mind is unnecessarily active. Unnecessarily active. So that is why it is said, be still and know that I am God. Be still and be aware that I am God. So here also, this is the place wherein the imageless image of God was made in man. So when you arrive at this state, this wondrous, benign state, wherein you have no images, no thought patterns, no feelings, absolutely, don't have any feelings. And when you are totally quiet and mentally still, then automatically you are in tune with your divine nature. You have got in tune with your divine nature. You have arrived at a point where in this state of supreme quietude has synchronized itself with the imageless image, natural state of God's beingness. It has synchronized automatically. No big deal at all. Is there? So simple. So simple. But all that is necessary is you have to understand it. Understand it. So in meditation, what is important is that you have to only understand what it is all about. The very understanding itself unfolds the whole secret about it. Unfolds it. There are three aspects in this meditation. One is meditation proper, which we are now talking about. The other is preliminary meditative exercises, which may make you competent to get into this state. The third is meditative living. Meditative living. Because you have to live your life in the world and go through the operations of living and performing your actions. Therefore, meditative living is also there. Is incorporated part of the whole scheme. So here too also, in this state of total silence, your mind has synchronized itself or has come in tune with your God nature, with your divine nature. When it does so, you are in a meditative state. You are in a meditative state. Then you may turn around and ask me, how is it so? How come it is so? All right. Now, I will explain this. When your mind perceives an apple, your mind is circumscribed and localized by the perception of the apple. The next moment, your mind sees a tree. Then your mind at that time has become localized and is aware of the tree. Then thereafter, the mind is sees the clouds, the formation of the clouds. Then your mind has got localized as has got the formation of the clouds. Because clouds have got a formation of their own. Then it perceives the sky, the blue sky. So when it sees the blue sky, your mind has got itself circumscribed by the perception of the blue sky all around you. Now, that's fine. But as far as the divine is concerned, or your divine nature is concerned, it is something which is unlimited, beyond all perceptions. It's all beyond perceptions. That is why in the Hindu tradition, a very appropriate word has been used for the divine. The word is Brahman, Brahman, not the Hindu gods. Leave them alone, severely alone. But it is Brahman. It is neuter, and it means that which is vast, which has no limits, and which is everywhere, unbounded, unbounded by space, unbounded in time. And that is the very name which has been, or the term which has been given for the divine, Brahman. So it is unlimited, unbounded. And when your mind correspondingly is in a state of stillness and silence, then your mind too, being not bound by any particular perception, has become what? Tell me. Unbounded, isn't it? Unlimited, not circumscribed by any object, any image, or any thought. So your mind now has automatically become unbounded, limitless. And what did we say the divine is? That it too is unbounded, limitless. And therefore, at this point, your mind has synchronized itself with the character and beingness of the divine. And thereby, you have become aware. This is the whole secret of meditation. So you have become aware of your divine nature. You're not experienced it. You've only become aware of it. Previously, where was your awareness? Tell me, where was your awareness previously? You were aware of the world, wasn't it? You were aware of yourself. So you got lost in the world. You got lost in yourself, didn't you? Therefore, you lost this pristine, pure, original awareness. So therefore, what should you do? All that you have to do is become unaware of the world, isn't it? Forget the world. Totally become unaware of it. And the second thing that you have to become unaware is, you become unaware of yourself. You become, all the time you are aware of yourself only. Your awareness is on yourself. Your feelings, your thoughts, your mental images. This is what you have been all these years, all these days, unwittingly aware of. So all that you have to do is cease being aware of the world. Forget the world. That is why the first thing what you do when you sit for meditation, you close your eyes, isn't it? Why do you close your eyes? Automatically you close your eyes. Because you want to forget this world. And what type of world? What type of world? Mad world. It's a mad world. Right? And you want to forget it. You want to forget this world. Then what's the next thing that you want to do? Don't you want to forget yourself? You'd like to forget yourself. You know why?
Oh, yes.
Because you are a nuisance to yourself. Therefore, you want to forget yourself. You want to forget yourself. So 2 things you have forgotten. Forgotten the world, forget yourself too. And there's one more thing that is bothering you, that is troubling you. And you're a victim of the 3rd thing too. What is that? What is the 3rd thing that you have to forget? Could you tell me?
Time.
Of course, time is part of the whole scheme, but there is a 3rd thing that you have to forget, which is causing a lot of problems too, which is making...
The mind.
Of course, the 3rd thing that you have to forget is all the conditionings which you have got into. Religion. Forget religion in total. In total. Forget all the religious indoctrinations that you had been victimized and suffered all these years. You have been conditioned. So all the religious notions and ideas, all that you have to forget religion. Why? Why? Because, ask yourself one question. Does God have a religion? Ask yourself, what is your answer? Huh? No. Then why should you? If you want to arrive at God, why should you? So forget religion also in toto. It's rather difficult, unpleasant. So you've got to forget the world, forget yourself, and the 3rd thing is forget religion along with all its social practices, values, and doctrines. You don't need them. Why don't you need them? Why? Why? Because you have to arrive at this state of silence. Arrive at this state of silence. So therefore, to get into this state of silence, you have to become silent to all of this. You have to become silent to all the thinking process, unnecessary thinking. And it is for this reason, in order to be in the state of silence and silent awareness, silently you become aware. So when you forget all of these things, then you can become silently aware without being disturbed. Without being disturbed. Aren't you disturbed by your feelings? Don't you have feelings? Don't you have religious feelings? Huh? You have strong religious feelings, isn't it? You get upset if somebody talks about it. Huh? Because you are subscribing to a religious feeling. And you get a little upset by it, a feeling comes in. So all that feeling should go away. All that feeling should go away. All that attachment to a particular structure should go away. So people appreciate when I tell them that you have to forget the world. Of course, that they understand. You have to forget yourself, that too they understand. But when it comes to religion, that you have to forget religion too, right? Then it's a little bit unpleasant for people to digest that information. Digest that. The trouble with religion is, at birth itself you are born to a club called a religion. You've been born to that. So automatically you begin to subscribe and you've got feelings and affiliations towards that. So it's very difficult to get out of it. You see? Then, now we said, in meditation, you have to become silently aware. And we also said that your current awareness is only of the world, of yourself. That is why a beautiful definition for meditation has been given in the Hindu tradition, in the Advaita Hindu tradition. That is, non-perception of the non-self is the state of meditation. Now mark these words, this particular line. Non-perception of the non-self. What are you currently aware of, and what is your perception currently? Your current perception is only of the non-self, isn't it? There are only two things which are there. One is your true self, and anything which is your true self is your divine nature, which you are totally unaware of at the moment. And anything other than your true self is the non-self. And what is the non-self? The non-self is that which is other than you, and which is something which you know. So what do you know? Don't you know your ego? Beginning from your ego? Huh? So that is something you know, it's your non-self. Your human individuality, you know. This human individuality. You know, in religious language, the term for this human individuality is denoted by the term the soul, the human soul. Right? So it is this human soul which is a human individual, which you know. You know this. So your ego you know, your mind you know, your intellect you know. That's why you say my mind, my intellect, my ego. No one ever says I am the ego. Huh? He says my ego. So that means you are different from you are different from it. You are different from all of these. This is your non-self. My body, my house, my family, and everything outside you is different from you. Is different. So this is the non-self. And this is what you are aware of, aren't you? From morning till evening, you are constantly aware of your non-self. You become aware of your mind, your intellect, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your body, and the world. The sense via the senses, the world. These are non-self. So you are constantly aware of the non-self. You are perceiving the non-self. Your perception is only of the non-self. All that you have to do is just add one more little word. What was that little word? Instead of the perception of the non-self, it should be the non-perception of the non-self. Got it? Instead of the perception of the non-self, it has to be only non-perception of the non-self. That's all. So, when does this take place? This situation take place? When you, of course, close your eyes and be mentally quiet, mentally still, no thoughts, no feelings, no visualization. Visualization is not meditation. There's a mental activity there. So when none of these are there, then it is said to be non-perception of the non-self. So, and this is called as meditation. Meditation proper, non-perception of the non-self. When does it transpire? Tell me. When you are quiet. When you are totally still and quiet. Totally quiet and still. Then this state transpires. Then in this state, you have done something, one thing. You have become aware, don't you? Otherwise you would go to sleep. The difference between sleep and meditation is that in meditation, you are totally aware. In sleep also, you have become dead to everything. Don't you? Huh? You have become dead to the world, dead to your human self, right? Huh? You have forgotten your world, forgotten yourself, forgotten all your beloved kith and kin, isn't it? What a wonderful thing. When you forget your own kith and kin and get to sleep. And you want to do that. So here also, forget all of this. Forget all of this. But with one exception, you become silently aware. Silently aware. So when you become silently aware, then now you have become aware of your divine nature. Divine nature. Now you may ask and tell me, why is it that you should be aware of your divine nature? In the first place, you had forgotten it. You had forgotten it. That was the original problem. Haven't you forgotten it? Huh? You had forgotten that you are the divine. So therefore, you have to be told and re-educated that you are the divine. Not in your human nature, but in your true nature. Everyone is the divine. If that be the case, then all that you have to do is understand it and become silently aware of it. When you are silently aware of it, then automatically you are in a meditative state. Silently aware. So that is why there is a phrase in the Sanskrit language for meditation. Anatma adarshanam, nididhyasanam. That means non-perception of the non-self, which I just now explained, is meditation. Another definition from the point of view of yoga philosophy. Nirvishayam manaha dhyanam. Dhyanam is another term for meditation, the state of meditation. Nirvishayam manaha. When the mind is bereft of its contents, then it is in a meditative state. When it is bereft, and what are the contents? Your thoughts, your images, your imaginings. These are the contents of your mind, isn't it? Huh? Your feelings. So when it is free of all of this, automatically it is in a meditative state. As simple as that. Now, in order to so successfully meditate and be in this state, there are three beautiful examples illustrated how you could be in this state, how you could arrive at this state. The Upanishads, the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, very beautifully illustrates how you can arrive and be in this state of meditation. Now it is also said that in the biblical tradition, what does it say? Empty thyself and thou wilt be filled with the Spirit. Isn't it? Empty thyself. Empty thyself means empty the contents of your mind. That's what it means. Empty the contents of your mind. Huh? And thou shalt automatically be filled with the divine Spirit. Huh? So just empty it. Now, in order to arrive at this state, to practice it, three beautiful examples have been given in one of the scriptures because the scripture is meant for the entire human race. It is a particular scripture, is a revelation given unto mankind by God himself for the benefit of the entire human race. And there is no such thing called a Christian scripture or a Hindu scripture. It is meant for the whole world, the entire humanity. And the same knowledge, the same teaching. So here also, in this particular text, it is said, with three beautiful examples, it is illustrated how you can arrive at this meditative state. The three examples, the first is, Dhyayati iva Prithvi. Dhyayati iva Prithvi. The earth, it seems as if the earth is meditating. The earth. It seems, when you look at the earth, what is the first impression that you get of the earth? Isn't it peaceful? Huh? The earth is at peace with itself wherever you go. It doesn't matter which part of the world. Huh? As you step into the garden, the earth there is peaceful. Right? You go into the countryside, the countryside is at peace. Right? So what does it tell? It's telling you, giving you a teaching there. You too also should be, like the earth, at peace with yourself. Got it? So you have to be at peace. Don't be disturbed by anything. Don't be disturbed. Just be at peace. And train yourself to be at peace. So now what are those factors which disturb your peace? Tell me. What are those factors? Principally, it is your emotions, isn't it? Huh? Your emotions, your passions, they come and disturb your peace. So therefore, clear them out of your system and be at peace with yourself. That is why in the Bible Jesus says, in the New Testament, blessed are the peacemakers, for they are the children of God. So, blessed are the peacemakers. Peacemakers means you make peace with yourself. So when you can make peace with yourself, you will not only be at peace with yourself, but with others and with the world around you. So you have got to now train yourself to be at peace with yourself. So that is why that example was given. Dhyayati iva Prithvi, the earth is at peace, and you too should be also like that. Then the second example which was given was Dhyayati iva Parvata. It seems as if the mountain is meditating. How? Isn't the mountain very still? Huh? The mountain is very still. You can never see a mountain moving. It is totally at still. It is still. So you also should train yourself to be still. That is why that statement in the Psalms it is given. Be still and know that I am God. So in order to know that I am God and to be aware that I am God, you have to be still, mentally still. So mentally still means don't fluctuate with the thoughts. With the thoughts. You know, a thought is like a pendulum. It's swinging all the time. So don't do that. Train yourself to be at peace. Be quiet. Be quiet. Can't you do that? At least can't you attempt to practice that? You can. So now, first is you have to be at peace. And you like to be at peace. And you are at peace quite often. You are at peace. Now and then, for a few seconds, you are at peace with yourself. When you do, and when are you so? When you don't think of anything else. When you are not bothered with anything. When you are not bothered by anybody. And if somebody is around your scene and disturbing, you tell the person, allow me to be at peace. Don't you tell that person? Huh? You tell him, allow me to be at peace. Get off. Get off. You see? So that you can. So you are at peace now. When you are with yourself, you are at peace. Just so train yourself to be with yourself. Just gather yourself and be at peace. And be still. Second, then the next thing is you have to be still. Then the third factor is, having become mentally still, there's another third example is given. Dhyayati iva bakaha. Bakaha means it's a crane, in the water. You see the crane which stands in the water, which has a big beak. The fellow stands in the water and he's looking at the fishes go by.
My name is Crane.
Crane, there you
My
see.
name.
So crane. So the crane, now you've got to be a real crane. So now the crane is absolutely still, because if it moves, the fishes will go away, will not come. So the crane is absolutely still. And what is it doing? It is totally focused and is watching. Doesn't it watch? Totally watching. It's not watching here, it's not watching there. It's totally still and watching there. Right? Similarly also, like the crane, you too also should be mentally still and watch. Watch. Watch means to be aware. Silently be aware. If when you are not aware, you are asleep, you are gone to sleep. But when you are aware totally focused, with total attention, you are now totally aware. With total attention, when you become silently aware. Aware of what? Tell me.
Of your nature.
Of your God nature, of your true nature. Or we can say, and how to be aware of your true nature? To be aware of nothing in particular. To be aware of nothing in particular. So when you are in that state, you are just aware. Silently aware of nothing. Nothing. And in that nothingness, what do you see? Nothing. Exactly. Nothing. When you close your eyes, you see nothing. Another thing happens when you close your eyes. What is that? Darkness, isn't it? Darkness. You know nothing there. It's darkness. So now, you realize the value of getting into this state of nothingness, of darkness. So that is why Meister Eckhart, the Christian mystic, was asked by somebody a question. Do you put our enlightenment in ignorance, in darkness? Because in darkness you know nothing. It's ignorance. You know nothing. So here, his reply was, no. It is knowingly getting into an unknowing state. See the whole thing. This unknowing state is a state of darkness, wherein you know nothing. But knowingly you get into this unknowing state with wisdom. Knowing and realizing the value of being there. So now when you are in this state of dark, when you have arrived at this state of the unknowing state wherein you know nothing in this state of darkness, it is like entering a tunnel. Got it? And haven't you heard of that famous expression, the light at the end of the tunnel? Haven't you heard?
Yeah.
This is the tunnel that you are entering. And with focused attention, you should be in this state, this unknowing state of darkness with total attention, focused attention. Then, by and by, you will arrive at the light which is at the end of the tunnel. And that light is your divine light, is your divine nature. Till you arrive at that, your divine nature, which is full of light. Full of light means not physical light, but the light of wisdom, the light of knowledge, the light of consciousness. The light of consciousness. So at this point, at this state, you were in a state of darkness. You entered that darkness. And as you proceed in this tunnel of darkness, then in due course, you will arrive at the light at the end of the tunnel. There is a light there. Here too also, it's the same thing. Same thing. You see? The light of your divine nature will flash to you as a matter of experience. So therefore, you have to be now, like the crane, totally focused. Totally focused. That is why, for this state of affairs, the Zen Buddhist use a very beautiful expression for this. This is the final of the Zen Buddhist teaching. Eka chitta ikshana samyukta prajna. Eka chitta ikshana. That means seeing with focused attention, one-pointed focused attention. Seeing. Samyukta prajna means along with awareness. You are seeing with awareness. Totally focused. And when you do this, this will lead you to the final state of enlightenment. Like the light at the end of the tunnel. So by and by you've got to practice this. You have to practice this. Now some very intriguing questions get asked out of this. The first thing is, in order to arrive at this state, at this particular state, this unknowing state, knowingly you enter the unknowing state of total darkness with focused attention, awareness accompanied with awareness. When you are in this state, in order to arrive at this state, what do you require? Should you be initiated into this? Give me your answer. No. No. Now do you see the whole comedy about initiations? Right? It's a comedy. No one can initiate you for you to arrive in this state. So what are they talking about initiations into meditation? Haven't you heard of this? Huh? You don't need. All that you require is a good understanding as to what really meditation is all about. And once you understand this, then everything becomes clear. Everything becomes clear. Is that clear to you? Then the next thing. So therefore, all that you need is to understand this very clearly. That's all. And then follow it up and practice it. Practice it. Then the next thing is meditative living. Of course, you have to, you can't be constantly in a meditative state in this manner, right? It's not practically possible for you at this point. So you have to do your focused, attentive, practice this focused, attentive, meditative state every day, preferably, because that is the most noblest and the best activity that you can do, because it is at this time that you are getting in tune with your divine nature. Remember this. It's at this time. So when you get in touch with your divine nature, do you know what is happening to you? You get healed. Healing takes place. Healing. How does the healing take place? You know, when there is a hot plate in the winter, and when you have turned it off, and if there's a little heat, when you touch it, isn't it, don't you feel the heat? Huh? The comforting heat? Similarly also, when you get into this meditative state, you have got in touch with your divine nature, and thereby you are getting healed as well. Healed of what? All your aberrations. All your aberrations. Finally, the biggest aberration you will get healed of. What is the biggest aberration? Come on, tell me. What is the biggest aberration that you are a victim of? Yourself. Yourself. Your individuality. You will get healed of that too. When you get healed of that, then you know what happens to you? You will lose yourself. When you lose yourself, then you will find true life. Now, do you understand? Right? When you lose your human individuality, you will find true life. This is the real meaning of it. So, therefore, this is the most important and benign practice that everyone should undertake. And it is in this particular state which you are able to practice or be in this state. There's another word for it. And that word is true prayers. Prayers. When you are in this state, you are in a prayerful state. Remember these two words, prayerful state. You are in a prayerful state when you are in the state of meditation. You see? And in this prayerful state, you have got in tune with God or with your God nature. Either way you can put it, it doesn't matter. With God or with your God nature, you have got in tune with it. Or we can put it this way. You have become alive to God. You have become alive to the beingness of God. Where? Within you. You have become alive to the beingness of God within you. How? By being conscious. By being conscious. So when you are consciously aware of this, then you are living with God consciousness. This is the meaning. This is the truth about it. Then, the next thing that you have to do is, since you have to live your life in the world, so you have to go through your operations of living as a meditative exercise. Meditative exercise. So this is called meditative living. How do you go about meditative living? In meditative living, it's very simple. Just live in the now. Be in the present. Be in the moment. Whatever the moment is, whatever the present is, just be in the moment. Be in the now. Forget the past. Don't worry about the past. The past is dead and gone. Don't think about it. Don't brood over it. It's a waste of time. But learn what you can from it, but forget it. Totally forget. Leave the past alone. Don't think of the future. Don't worry about the future. But just take care of the present. Be in the now. And moment to moment, be in moment to moment. Just take care of whatever has to be taken care of in the present. In the present, you have got to do things. Just do it. Just do it. You know, there are 3 things that you have to do. Just do whatever you have to do. Just be. Just be. Why? Because you've got nothing else to do. Just be. And the 3rd thing is, just live. Just live. Why are you living? Because I have to just live. Just live. So if you can learn to just live, just do, and just be, and take care of the immediate present, whatever it is. Because this is a work which has been assigned to you. Whether you like it or not, it has been assigned and given to you. Therefore, just do it. Just do it. And finish it off. Then you are living in the present without being disturbed by the past, without being disturbed by the future. But how do you live? Just peacefully. Just peacefully live. Peacefully go through your operations. Are you in a hurry to get anywhere? No. Are you in a hurry to live life? Certainly not. Certainly not. But nevertheless, everyone is in an unnecessary hurry. So slow down and live at your own pace, very peacefully. Then you are living in the now, right? Untrammeled by the past or the future. And when you are in the now, living in the now, and how should you live in the now? Don't unnecessarily think. Why? Because you already have an occupation. You have an occupation. Thank God you have. If you didn't have this occupation of doing something, you will go mad. You see? Or become or lazy. One is it. But since you have an occupation, something to do, some work to do, just do it. Just do it. This is called meditative living. Don't worry about the results of what you are doing. That has already been taken care of. The results have already been taken care of. So this work which has been assigned to you, just do it. Therefore, be in this prayerful state. Prayer. So, another word for meditation we said was a prayerful state. And another word which we can use for the state of true meditation is a state of true worship. You know, the word worship has been used. Of course, in the worship that you have in temples and churches, there's a lot of activity. Haven't you noticed? That is not worship at all. That is entertainment. That is nothing more than to distract you from the true purpose of worship, to keep you occupied with something. But here, true worship takes place when you are in a prayerful state. And practice this and go through your meditative living, being totally focused in the present. And while doing your work, be calm. 2 things are necessary. Be calm and be quiet. Quietly, peacefully live your life. So that means, in short, live like a hermit. Live like a hermit at home. In your own home, live like a hermit. You don't have to become a hermit in the jungle. Live at home itself like a hermit. And if the others come and disturb you, tell them, don't disturb, I want to be at peace. Right? And then at the same time, go about your functionings, whatever you have to do, whatever operations that you have to go through, just without any anxiety. Because an anxiety disturbs your peace, isn't it? Doesn't it? Huh? It creates tension. So what? If the world collapses, so what? I don't collapse. Right? I don't collapse. So long as you don't collapse, everything is all right. So just be at peace with yourself and operate in the world, and this is called meditative living. And during this time, when you don't unnecessarily think, but think when you have to think. Think when you have to think. So at that time, you're using your mind as a tool to operate. When you don't require the mind as a tool to, because that is what the mind is, it's a tool to operate in the world. And when you don't require the mind, put it aside. Don't carry the mind with you, like carrying a spoon, you know. When you have eaten your food, you don't carry the spoon in your pocket. So mind is also a tool to operate in the world. Use it as and when it is needed. At other times, keep quiet. And in this way, if you can live your life peacefully and calmly, you are living with God awareness, or in a contemplative state or meditative state. So this is how life is supposed to be lived by one and all in the world. Om Tat Sat.